Welcome to These Are the Blades of Our Lives, the figure skating show where I talk to you about figure skating like it is drama for our mamas. So I am feeling so much better. I can breathe now. So I'm catching up on all the figure skating that I've missed. And so I am now doing my prediction video for US Nationals. Now, I'm sorry guys, but I have to rant a little before I get into US Nationals. We saw what happened at Canadian Nationals with the MT stadium. I know there was some weather issues and whatnot, but for me, the four pillars of figure skating have always been the US, Canada, Japan, and Russia. Skating is still very popular in Russia, but I've watched some of the Russian Grand Prix, and I'll be honest with you, some of those stadiums were pretty empty. And then we go over to Japan. Their events are still pretty well attended, but after the loss of Yuzuru Hanyu once he retired, there definitely was a drop in the popularity of figure skating. Now we move on to the US. The US popularity for skating was always driven by the fact that the US women were so dominant for so long. We have not had a US champion for a very, very long time. I mean, a champion that could compete on the international stage. And so the sport has been losing ground in that particular area of the world. And then 8 years ago, we had, Thank You Canada tour. We had, Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer winning gold. We had Canada winning the team gold. We had Caitlin Osman winning the bronze for the women. We had Megan and Eric winning the bronze for pairs. Skating in Canada was thriving. 8 years later, because of very poor management made by, Skate Canada is where it is now. So now I'm sort of terrified that we may have a repeat in US National similar to what we have at Skate Canada. And I want to say where we are in skating right now is to be strictly put at the door of the International Skating Union, ISU, and then the International Olympic Committee, IOC. And this, you could literally trace it back to Sochi, to those particular Olympic. At that particular Olympic, the ISU and the IOC had made an agreement with Russia that they would have their first lady women champion by any means necessary. And at that time, Yulia Letkinskaya was very popular. We didn't think she was a better skater than Yuna Kim, but there was something so special about her. Yes, she still had the Italy jump technique that was under-rotated. She still didn't have a lot of speed, but she had these beautiful spin. She was well packaged. The girl in the red jacket, she was performative. She was special. So we were all willing to go along with the story of making Yulia the Olympic champion. Unfortunately, when Yulia failed to deliver, and I always believed that, had Adelina skated before Yulia, we would have been talking a very different story because Adelina would have been given the scores that she had been given all season, not the inflated score that she ended up with. But when Yulia failed to deliver, everyone, the Russian committee, the IOC, the ISU began to scramble. And what they decided to do was to inflate Yulia's scores to such a point, to inflate Adelina's scores to such a point to make up for Yulia not being able to deliver in the women's short program. With that, they were then able to give Adelina the gold medal. And what they did in that moment was to choose a winner over a champion. And what I mean by that, had Yuna Kim won that second Olympic gold medal, she would have done something that we had not seen since Katarina Witt. That would have been the story. This is a champion, 8 years in the making, building, and now she has done something we have not seen in decades. And that would have been the storyline we would have fed to other skaters. Put in 8 years and you could be a double champion. the storyline they opted to was the fresh product. And that opened the door for the Etheri era. And the Etheri era is all about a product. I'm not calling these children products. I don't think of them as product. This is how Etheri has referred to them. And we have literally seen this. One line of product being replaced by another, being replaced by another. And what these products became were winners. And what the ISU and the IOC fail to understand is winners do not grow sports. Why? Because we do not become invested in winners. We become invested in champion. I am fully invested in what is going on with Simone Biles. Why? I've seen her for 12 years. She's had her up, she's had her down. She's human. I'm invested in her. What we're invested in is Michael Phelps. Again, 3 Olympics, 12 years, had his ups and downs. We've seen him grown as a human being. We're invested. We're invested in the Michael Jordan 6 ring. We're invested in the Babe Ruth endless amount of records because they've been around for us to build that relationship. They are champion. Champions build sport. I personally am invested in the Triple A. I'm invested in Aljona. I'm invested in Aljona Kostonaya. I'm invested in Alexandra Chusova. I'm invested in Anna Shabakova. The reason why is because I am a super figure skating fan. I watched these little girls when they were in juniors. I've had the years of investment in them that I can follow them and be emotionally invested. But most people are not super figure skating fans. They're one-time watchers, or it's figure skating is on, let me watch it. So when you have those kind of audience and they see Daria Ushashova, they're not gonna know this was an exquisite junior skater who has so much potential, who could have been great. What they're gonna remember, oh yeah, that's the girl who broke her hip on national television. There is no emotional investment there because she's not a champion. We have not had the time to invest in her. That is why this sport is dying, because the ISU and the IOC opted for the winner instead of the champion. And now that Russia is not in the sport, the ISU had the possibility to correct that wrong, to once again put us on the path of getting champions. But I know the second that the Russians are back, not if they're back, but when they're back, the ISU is going to go back to the same method of not calling the edges, of not calling the pre-rotation, telling me that's a quad when it's obviously a triple because only 3 rotations was done in the air. They're going to go back to choosing the path of a winner instead of a champion. And this sport will continue to decline as it has been for decades. Oh my God, this hurts me so much. And I pray that when we turn on U.S. nationals, we get not the Canadian, but what happened at the European. This is what I hope for, but who knows? Now, in terms of the skating, what we can expect from U.S. nationals, we're going to start with pairs, which is currently the weakest discipline for the Americans. From the pairs that are participating, our podium, if I had to guess, and I am guessing, would probably be Emily Chen and Spencer Akira Howie, Ellie Khan and Danny O'Shea, probably Chelsea Liu and Balaz Nagy, with maybe a dark horse being Valentina Plaza and Maximiliano Fernandez. Now, if you had asked me at the beginning of the year, I would have said for sure Emily and Spencer are going to win nationals because they were the best pairs that the U.S. had after some breakups and after some retirement. Unfortunately, we have not seen Emily and Spencer once this entire season. I don't recall, but I think they were out with injuries for this entire season. So literally speaking, we can have Emily and Spencer come in here and win US Nationals, or they could be in last, depending on where they are in terms of the progress they've made post injury. In second place, I'm gonna go with Chelsea Liu and Balazi Nagy. Chelsea has the best twist in the business for me right now. The height of that twist is amazing. They have an amazing twist. And when they can land the throw, they also have an amazing throw. Height, distance, coverage. Also, Chelsea looks amazing in the air. They have beautiful lifts. The jumps, not their strongest element. I don't think Chelsea has landed any of the jumps in any of the competitions that I've seen her in this season. I'm trying to remember if there was like skate skate America. No, she has not landed her jumps all this season. So if there is a place where they will probably lose points, it will probably be on the side by side jumps, both in the short and in the long program. But otherwise, I would put them in second place. Now, Emily and Danny, again, another pair with beautiful lifts, and some of the transitional materials they have in their program, exquisite. The twist is also good. The throws is a 50-50 hit or miss. The side by side, 100% miss so far this season. Again, I don't think I've seen Ellie land any of the side by side jumps this season. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, neither the short nor the long. I can't recall Ellie landing any of it. So again, the side by side jumps are probably going to be where they lose points, because the throws, not great, but they can do it. The twist, good. Lifts, amazing. Program, amazing. How cleanly can they go? So for me, I would definitely put them in the bronze medal position. If there is any team that could possibly knock one of these teams off of the podium, I would have to say it's probably Valentina and Max. But again, they're so inconsistent. They are so very inconsistent. Sometimes their throws work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the side by side work, sometimes they don't. So how clean can they be here in terms of all their elements? They're very inconsistent pair, but for me, they would have to be the dark horse in terms of probably knocking one of the other teams off the podium. But without having seen Emily and Spencer, it's hard to say. So I guess I'll go with I'll play it safe. I'll say Chelsea and Balaz for gold, Emily and Spencer for silver, and then Ellie and Danny O'Shea for the Bronx. So I'll go that way, just to be safe. Then for the men, we don't even have to discuss this. We already know this is going to be the crowning of the one, the only Ilya Melanin. Yes, I am definitely expecting to see Ilya on top of this podium without a question. The only question we're having is whether he's going to do that quad axel in the short program again. Is he going to take the risk and put it in the program, or is he just gonna, or does he want to have a clean national, just wrap it up and have a good time? I don't know, because Ilya is so competitive. I feel like for me, Ilya knows he's going to win nationals. There's no way he's not going to world. It's just not going to happen. So I think, given how competitive Ilya is, he's probably going to put that quad toe in both the short and the long program, just to send a message to his competitors, just to let them know this is what you have to compete against. At this point, I think he probably will do it just to be like, yeah, I am the quad king. Here's two quad axle for you guys. So definitely I'm seeing Ilya in first place. Jason Brown is competing here. There is a lot of things that I do not like about the way US figure skating handles their program. The one thing that I love that US figure skating does is pay Jason Brown to come compete at nationals. Why? Because it makes sense. Because that is where our heart and soul is. And we want to see Jason Brown. Who cares about a quad? Who cares? I do not care. I want to see the beautiful spins. I want to see the musicality. I want to see the footwork. I want to see Jason be at his best. And so I am very, very, very happy Jason is going to be here. And of course, I'm automatically giving him the silver medal. Because what other US men are you going to even bother to put above Jason? Towards what purpose? Towards what purpose? We're giving Jason Brown that silver medal and we're sending him to World because I want to see it. Now, the bronze medal, I feel, is where we're really going to see the fight because there are several US men who could potentially win that bronze medal. We have Kemden Polkinen, we have Maxine Nemov, we have Andrew Tugashev, we have Yaroslav Petnant, and then you also have Jimmy Ma. You can never leave Jimmy Ma out of it. There's also Liam Kapikis. Sorry, Liam. And then, of course, you have the young and upcoming Lucas Broussard. Unfortunately, Lucas has had a very difficult season so far, which is understandable. He's grown. He's transitioning from junior to senior. He's trying out the quads. All of these things, of course, is going to make it a difficult transition and a difficult season. However, Lucas is a beautiful skater. And he can definitely bring a lot to US men figure skating when he's grown into his body, he's managed that quad, and he has everything going for him. Because there is definitely potential there and a lot of beautiful things about Lucas's skating. Jimmy is always entertaining. He's probably going to have a good short and not a great long. Jimmy Ma is such an inconsistent skater with so much potential that he's always in the mix but never fully delivers. So it is what it is. For me, if I had to pick the potential silver medalists, it would have to be between Andrew Togashev and Kemden Polkinen. Camden has been okay this season. Nothing fabulous, nothing disastrous. He's just been okay. He's a full-time college student. He's also competing full-time. Those are two very difficult load to balance. But he's managed to do it fairly well this season. If he can go to national and he can be fairly clean, I can see him on that podium. And then we have Andrew Tugashev. Last nationals, he came and he just delivered. Could he do a repeat here and also deliver? If he could do that, then he also has a chance at that bronze medal. So for me, the two men that I really see as the third place finisher is going to be either between Kemden Pokinen or Andrew Togashev. Those are the two that I really have in mind. And then we move on to ice dance. Ice dance is going to be a bloodbath. Oh my goodness, ice dance is going to be a bloodbath. Why? Because the second place for ice dance is at nationals is now a little more open. And the reason why is because John-Luc and oh my god, I can't believe I'm blanking out on their name right now. Caitlin Hawaii and John-Luc Baker is because Caitlin Hawaii and John-Luc Baker are not going to be at nationals. I love this team. I think they are so special. I think they have such beautiful skating skill. But as always, I am always a health first, safety first. Figure skating is wonderful. Human beings are even better. So the fact that Caitlin Hawaii and John Luke Baker have decided to put their health first and not compete at national or the rest of this season, I applaud them tremendously. What this does now is that it opens up that second spot at US National. Who do we put in the second and the third spot? Because we already know we're not even trying to make it like Madison Chalk and Evan Bate are not going to win this. They are going to win this by a country mile. But who do we put in second? All this entire season, Christina Carrera, Anthony Podomarenko, and Caroline Green and Michael Parson have been very, very close to each other. So are the judges going to go with Caroline and Michael, or are they going to go with Christina and Anthony? Personally, if I had to pick the podium, ah, this is controversial, but I would actually probably go with Ona Brown and Cage Brown for that silver medal. I love them so much. And I feel like they have so much more potential and so much more room to grow. And then for the bronze medal, again, controversial, I would go with Emilia Zingler and Vadim Kolesnik. Again, I just feel like they have so much more potential and so much more room to grow. No, honestly, let me redo that. And I'm going to tell you guys why. I'm not putting Emily Zingras and Kolesnik on the podium for one simple reason. They are under Igor Spielberg. And Igor is a starter coach for me. He's the coach when you're in junior and then you transition to senior. Your first 2 years as a senior, you work with Igor, you get the edge, you get the spin, you get all of your basics done, and then you go to a finisher. Igor is not a finisher. He's not the kind of coach that's going to give you the best program, the best packaging. Igor knows how to play the political game, so his teams are going to do well enough. But they're never going to be that top team because he's missing that packaging and those programs. uh, Perfectly is Emily and Vladim. Like, Vladim has been with Igor forever, so I doubt Vladim is ever gonna leave Igor. But I feel like if they want to go to that next level, they probably have to leave Igor, or Igor has to hire a finisher, because this should have been Emily and Vladim's season. They had so much momentum last season. They were supposed to have built on that momentum and closed the barrier this season. But the gap only got larger. And one of the reasons is because both of their programs, not great. Not great. Nothing to really write home about. Their packaging, not great. Nothing to really write home about. And again, that is because Igor is not that complete coach. He's a starter coach, and he needs to desperately hire a finisher coach so that together they can build something great. So I'm not going to put Emily and Vladim on the podium. So I'm going to redo that. So it will be Madison Chalk and Evan Bates, Ona Brown and Cage Brown, and then Caroline Green and Michael Parson. So then for me, my tops would be Madison Chalk, Evan Bate, Oma Brown, Cage Brown, Caroline Green, Michael Parson, Christina Carrera, Anthony Podomarenko, then Emilia Zingras, Vladim Koznik, and then I guess, this is hard. Personally, I prefer Emily Brady and Ian Somerville because Ian is just fabulous. But I know the judges prefer Ava Pate and Logan Bai. Oh, this is difficult. This is difficult. What I think the judges are going to do is I think they're going to play it safe. I think they're going to do Madison Chalk and Evan Bate gold, Caroline Green and Michael Parson silver, and then Christina Carrera and Anthony Potarenko bronze. I think they're going to play it safe, but I wish they wouldn't, because if you're going to push teams, if you're going to make a stand, if you're going to prepare for the next Olympic, now would be the time to make the moves. But I doubt US figure skating is going to take that chance. I think they're going to go safe. So I think it's probably going to be this is what I think. I think it's going to be Madison Chalk, Evan Bate, Caroline Green, Michael Parson, Christina Carrera, Anthony Potarenko. I think they're probably going to go with Ava Pate and Logan By, because the judges seem to really like them for some reason. They're not really my cup of tea. Then I think it's going to be Ona Brown and Cage Brown, which is a shame. Then I think it's going to be Emily Zingras and Vladimir Kolesnik, followed by Emily Bratti and Ian Somerville. I think that's how the top is going to play out. But we're going to have to wait and see. And then finally, of course, we get to the women. Without a doubt, this is going to be the crowning of Isabel Levito. I think it doesn't really quite matter how Isabel skate at this competition. I think this is going to be her crown, her nationals. They're preparing her to be the great U.S. lady champion, and they're going to give it to her. And I think even if some other skater outskate her, she's still gonna walk away with that title. So I definitely think in first place it's going to be Isabel Levito. I think based on the competitors here, in second place should be Lindsay Thorngreen. If Lindsay can skate clean and could stay on her feet, and if US figure skating finally decides that they want to back Lindsay, which they have not done so far, then I think Lindsay Thorngreen can definitely walk away with the silver medal here. Now we get to the bronze. I mean, without a doubt, it should go to Amber Glenn. Without a doubt, it should go to Amber Glenn, because when Amber is on, she is on. But consistency issues are constantly plaguing Amber, and I pray that Amber understands how fabulous she is, and she comes out here and she skates lights out, and she makes it very difficult for the judges to not give her that US national title. I hope she makes them struggle, because I would give, if Amber could skate 2 clean programs, I would give Amber the US title in a heartbeat. Why? Because her jumps look real good when they're clean. When they're landed cleanly, Amber has beautiful jumps. So for me, if Amber can come out here and Amber can be clean, I'm giving Amber the title. But given how she's competed so far this season, given the consistency, given the fact that judges tend to try to be a little safe at national, I think the bronze medal may be the silver medal, depending on how her and Lindsay skate. I think the two of them become a little interchangeable. Um, and then um, in fourth place, I'm gonna put Audrey Shen. Fairly consistent all season, prone to under rotation, but then she's a Tammy Gamble girl. If Ekaterina is the queen of teaching pre-rotation, Tammy Gamble is the queen of teaching under rotation. So of course, poor Andrew Shen is gonna be called for all of her under rotation. She's a Tammy Gamble girl. So I would put in fourth place Audrey Shen. So Audrey Shen in fourth place. In fifth place, um, that's a little rough, because there's a lot of skaters who are coming from junior too senior that I could see making a move here. I'm gonna go with Claire So. I'm gonna go with Claire So. Very, very nice skater. Again, rotation issues, but a very, very nice skater when she's on. Then I guess we can go with Star Andrew. If she can get the triple toe in the short program and skate a relatively clean free program. I could see Star Andrew. But then again, she can also be knocked down by a couple of these juniors that are competing. Soho Lee, beautiful skater when she's on. Josephine Lee, another beautiful skater. Lovely spins, jumps a little iffy, but if she's on here, this could definitely be the place to make the move at. And then there is Maya Callan. She's got a quad. Not a fully rotated quad, but she has a quad. If she can come out here and she can land the quad, who knows what could happen. Overall, I'm really looking forward to U.S. Nationals. I really hope the stadium is packed. I really hope the skaters feed off the energy of the audience and they all have their best skates ever. But anyhow, this is what I think is going to play out in U.S. Nationals. But you guys go ahead and let me know in the comment, what does your podium look like?